Throughout the primaries, Bernie Sanders has shown an almost unique ability to combine an empathic core and intelligence about what the people need with a keen strategic mind. After all, his message, driven by his morals and his policy positions, drew many people to his campaign, but it was the campaign's incredible strategy, organizational abilities, ability to use the internet for fundraising. It was all these things, and I have another example of that, of how he's continuing to use morals combined with a keen strategic mind. Look at what he's about to do in the run-up to the Philadelphia convention. He sent out an email asking for donations, which obviously many candidates are doing right now. But he didn't do it for himself. He didn't want to raise money for ads or anything like that. He's raising money to send the delegates to the Philadelphia convention, because he knows that these are regular people who don't have close ties with other politicians who can get them rooms and things like that. These aren't wealthy people. They aren't chosen basically as sort of a give back to them for supporting the candidate. These are just regular people who can't necessarily afford what the campaign estimates could be up to $4,000 per delegate for the airfare and the hotel stay for multiple days in Philadelphia. And by the way, of course, they're going to be, in many cases, taking off work to do this, which is more money out of their pocket. So in this email, Jeff Weaver, the campaign manager for Sanders, says, "Our delegates are not wealthy campaign contributors. They're not party insiders or establishment elites. They're working folks, and it's not easy for many of them to fly to Philly and stay in hotels for a week." Now, the empathy is in wanting to help out these people and all of that. The strategic side of it is this. We really need to have all of our delegates at the Democratic convention because we expect there could be critical votes for the party platform and electoral process. We'd hate to fall short on these votes because some of our delegates couldn't afford to go to the convention. And this is not a strictly hypothetical thing. To put it in the context of recent history, both the Sanders campaign and the Clinton campaign have literally lost actual delegates in the state-level version of what we're talking about right now, where they didn't have enough of their county delegates show up to the state-level conventions where the eventual final delegate count is generated. And in a couple of cases, Bernie Sanders got more delegates from a state than he would have expected to based on the vote count. And in some cases, some people believe this contributed to Nevada. Not quite enough Sanders people showed up, which made it easier for the Clinton campaign to turn the process into something that benefited themselves. Now, there's nothing bigger at this point than the convention, and so nothing like that can happen. From Bernie's point of view, also from Clinton's point of view. They want to make sure that every one of the delegates that they've earned over the course of this campaign is there to fight for their platforms. And because Bernie Sanders has made it so clear in the last few speeches that he's given that he is taking this all the way to the convention and fighting there for his policy priorities, I talked recently about the first round of the platform drafting committee meetings, which was a very mixed bag, and a lot of important Sanders policy planks were not put on the platform yet. There were some good ones, $15 minimum wage, stuff like that, but not all the things that we want. And it's all leading up to this. And so he needs to make sure that every one of those delegates is there, because that is where the main fight is going to happen. The fight to make sure that as many of the priorities of the movement, of the revolution, actually get put into effect by the Democratic Party based on what happens in this election. Now, we're just setting up for the fight. The actual fight is coming up soon. But I love that Bernie Sanders is doing this. He's using his amazing clout, the respect and admiration that the American people have for him, to raise money to help send regular people, of which I've met several actually, to Philadelphia to make it a little bit easier for them to take part, to be a part of the revolution. So, Bernie Sanders doing the right thing.